Well, hello. As you know, my name's Dan, and we're gonna fix. We're gonna rebuild a 12.5 horsepower Briggs and Stratton carburetor and throat. As you can see, I've already scraped a lot of the loose debris off of the carburetor and already have removed it. This gasket right here is a little loose, but I think it's going to hang on, so we're going to keep that there. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this throat apart. Now, you're going to need a small 8mm wrench to do that. And as always, needle nose, 7/16 when we remove the bolt. You're going to need your large stiff brush to get the rest of that debris off of there as much as we can. And then we have our cleaner brush, and I have a little can of cleaner here for doing just that. We're gonna take this thing apart and we're gonna clean it up, and we're gonna have a beautiful carburetor when we're done, because we just bought a lawnmower with a blown motor, but it's got real nice parts on it. They just need to be cleaned up, and we're going to put a newer motor on it, and it's going to be rip-roaring and ready to go. But first we have to take care of these used parts and make sure that we're not sticking something on there that's going to give us trouble. And you never know, you might end up a lawnmower mechanic. Now, like I said, the first thing we're going to do is grab our 8mm wrench and remove these bolts right here at the end of the carburetor. And if you don't have bolts, don't worry about it. Just try to remove them bolts, because I don't want to work on the throat at the same time that I'm working on the carburetor. And you can do this if you like. You can keep the throat on there, but I think it'd be a better job if you go ahead and remove it. It's only the 2 bolts, and set them aside. And if you got a little box or something to sit them in, I got a huge workbench. I got plenty of room. But you should have a little box to keep all your parts in, so that you don't lose them. Because if you lose them or misplace them, you're going to have a problem. Now, hopefully this throat will come apart pretty easy. Now, I just gently keep working with it. And it broke loose. As you can see, yours should look like that one right there. Alright, now remember, this has to go back on the same as it came off, and you don't want no air coming through where the gaskets are. If you get air through there, your engine's not going to run properly. And it's the same way with this part here, so be real careful with that. And if you do happen to tear the gasket, you can use a little gasket maker. Just put a little gasket maker on it and kind of repair it as best you can. But remember, it's got to be flat, and when you seal it, no air allowed in the throat. Now, I already cleaned this off pretty good, but I'm going to take this brush before I put it in the cleaner and just brush it off as much as I can. Get as much of the dirt off. You don't want that in your cleaner. And just brush it off. Take your time. If you can't do this part, you don't need to be working on mowers. And you don't need to be working on engines, period. Matter of fact, you might want to get a job at Burger King. So just take your time. Make sure you get as much of that loose debris off of there as you can. Because the cleaner that you get this, the nicer it's going to be for you in the final stages. You do want to do a good job, I'm sure, or you wouldn't be listening to me. You'd be listening to one of them other guys. Yeah, them other guys that poke sticks at it, and they got smoke and mirrors and all that stuff like that. And that's not a lot of fun. Well, that piece right there is a little bent, I see. It's not perfectly straight. Not that it's going to make a difference, but, if you're going to do a good job, try to be a little picky. But do not pry on anything unless you've got experience. And that's the key to all this, experience. So the more that you do something, the more you're going to be familiar with it, the easier it will become. And then you'll be able to do this stuff with your eyes closed, because I can. It's nice to be able to see it. Thank the Lord that I can see it. Or whoever's in charge. That'll be your decision, right? Just clean that carburetor. Do a real good job brushing her off.
How hard the routine is, and they base it all on different tricks.
I don't know how hard the machine is going to look like. I'd give the guy about 3.5. Really? Cool.
But the lawnmower thickness on it really, really nice. And it wasn't, I still want, my work to shine, so, what's wrong with that? I'm going to take my little screwdriver, which I always have handy. There's a little extra goo in here. And I don't want that in my cleaner. I've used this cleaner, the same cleaner, for a long time. And when it's sitting, the goo that does get in there settles to the bottom, and it doesn't bother me. I surely don't mix it up, because I don't need the goo. And that way my cleaner's going to last a long time. Now I do believe you can go ahead, if you haven't got a regular cleaner, you can use a little bit of gas. But be extremely careful. I mean, any kind of liquids that you use are dangerous. Gasoline is very flammable and can be very messy. But just use your head. If that don't work, listen to me. If you're worried about it, don't use it. Get a regular cleaner, which is still flammable, so there you go. Either way, you are no smoking allowed around the container. Now, after you get done doing that, clean up your work area, because, just proper thing to do. Keep your work area clean at all times. Every time you do something, just kind of brush it off. Now we're going to open up the cleaner and start cleaning the carburetor. Now, as you can see, I got most of the loose stuff off the carburetor. And it's going to make my job a whole lot easier. Which is the purpose. See, some people get in a hurry, lose their patience, and they just cause themselves more work. And, well, I had enough work to keep me busy until I didn't want to quit working. Yeah. Sure be nice if I made some money doing that. Right? But, just remember, take your time. A little patience. When you're working on carburetors, you do have to, show a little patience, because it does take a little time. And if you're still watching this video, you must have some patience, and you must be learning something, and that's why I'm doing it. I got to do this anyway. Might as well record it and post it up, because I'm always kind of proud of my work, because I do go out of my way to do good work, and I think people out there who want to learn how to do this kind of work would like to learn a few tricks. And my number one trick, as you can see, may be hard to believe, but it's actually cleaning up the parts I'm working on. In some way, I'm always cleaning my parts, and they always look real nice. I don't get as much dirt all over everything. And, I recommend cleaning a carburetor very thoroughly before you take it apart. Carburetor is a very important part of your engine. It regulates your gas flush and your airflow mixture, so that you have a proper fire. So, make sure the outside's really nice. Until you're amazed how clean it is.
Tomorrow we hope to try the watermelon Oreos.
Well, I think that might be good enough. Get a little rag. And wipe it off. Don't use your shirt. I'm sure some of you do. Bad habit. Yeah, a mechanic
There's a new,
or somebody that works
there's a new app out.
on automotive or
There's other people's
engine parts. You always have plenty of
You
rags.
can avoid certain people.
And,
Bob,
you know, people throw rags away every freaking day. Or broken down shirts. I love shirts. They're actually really, you know, the cloth type. They're made of a little cotton and they soak up real good. They last a while. And my gasket came off, so I'm gonna. But it came off on its own, so that's okay. If it comes off on its own, it'll put right back on there. Won't have to glue it or anything. If you want to learn how to put the carburetor back on, you can check out my carburetor putting on videos. But I think what I'll tell you, on some of these gaskets, this here's a little hard gasket. It's not a soft gasket. But I still recommend taking a little oil on your finger and wiping the areas that are going on down because it helps the seal. That's something I do. Now, as you can see, yeah, we got a nice little carburetor. Right? Now, while you're at it, let that dry a minute. Go ahead and take a throat and clean it up too. I mean, I don't know. Mine's pretty messy here. Probably because I didn't do it right. Yeah. We're not always perfect. We don't always do all the things we need to do. But knowing them will lead us to doing them. And I'm going to have to take a little screwdriver and have the patience to, you know, get some of that little stuff off there. And I hope you're doing that as best you can. Remember, if you haven't got a lot of patience, this is a good way to practice. And you'll get better at it. It's like anything, you can keep doing it. You will get it. Just try to remember what you're trying to do. That's a good job. That's what I do. I do a good job. Everybody has confidence in me and trusts me, counts on me to do a good job. So that they don't have to worry about it. You know? Most of the time, these mechanics that you go see don't really know what they're doing anyway. But they know how to charge you an outrageous amount of money. What you can do at home with a little instruction from Dan. Yeah. So we're costing your local mower man a little money. And I'm sure he don't like me one bit. That means I'm doing a good job, right?
That's right, JJ. Correct.
That's right. You're supposed to say, right. That's working out fine.
Listen here.
And just a couple of spots, Mama. They're all cleaned up. Easy to clean that way. Like I said, this gasket here's a little loose. And by the time I clean it, it might fall off too. But it ain't falling apart. It just might fall off from cleaning it with the gas on.
Credit and debit in one from Fifth Third Bank.
Visit any banking center today. You know what? I think I'll paint this
Checking account required, $50 deposit required.
before I put it back together.
Housing lender. Fifth Third Bank Duo Card is a registered service mark. Fifth Third Bank.
You don't have to.
The formula for
Doesn't matter.
groundbreaking new
You can put it right back on the way it is.
It's simple.
I just think I'll paint it. Just because I like doing
Start with an exterior.
a little special work.
Now
This ain't for a customer. This is, I bought this. And if you're the one that's going to be buying this, you know that I went through a lot of effort to make sure that this lawnmower was ready to go and will work for you. And that's what it's all about. Making sure that you are totally satisfied with me and my work and whatever you purchase from me or I end up doing for you, because it is important to me. My reputation, that is at stake with every brush stroke.
Our roofing experts determine if you have
that.
storm damage.
And yours too will
Has
be
an
a
A+
stick.
rating with the Better Business Bureau. We're
And you
also
do.
celebrating our 25th
Any work
anniversary and will give a
or
$25
someone who
gift
counts on
card
you.
with every inspection.
Don't let them down.
513-4-SIESEL now. And
Nothing
get a
good's gonna come of it.
inspection. That's 513-4
Never
FBA
let somebody down
or visit us at
who trusts you.
Certain restrictions apply. Call
Okay.
Diesel for details at 513-4-DIESEL.
Walt's Business Solutions
Yeah.
Studio. If your office ain't
I might not paint it, but it turned out very clean. But now the next thing you want to do, okay, put your lid back on your lid and move it out of the way for now. You can always get it back out. But we're going to take the bowl and remove it. That's your 7/16 wrench. Firmly hold on to the carburetor. Don't break anything. And just unscrew that and take it off. Now you're going to have a bolt with like a little washer on it. That's to help seal it so it don't leak. Put that with your parts. Don't lose it.
WOFX, Cincinnati.
Now, I'm taking this apart, and as you can see the gasket is sticking to the bowl. You know, we don't want to break it, so where the gasket's still stuck to the throat, it looks like it's less than stuck to the bowl. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to work it off the carburetor with my finger, just a little at a time. No pressure, and really. There. See? Gently, patiently. You know, that's why I say never just jerk these off. Take your time, have patience, and that way you don't have to get a new one. Now, a lot of times these floats are attached by this little thing here. Alright, a lot of times you can take that out with your finger. That's why you got the needle nose pliers, just to remove that. Okay? And if you can remove it by your finger, just don't drop it, because then you're going to have to run around trying to dig it up. I've lost these before. I'm not perfect. So we sit down with our tools. Now, gently, and I mean gently, take this back part and tilt it up like this, and then lift. In this angle, it will hold your needle for your needle valve. That regulates your gasoline. Okay? So don't lose that piece. That's why I tilt it that way, to stay in the little catch-all. And we'll set that aside. Now this carburetor, I mean, really looks nice inside. I hope you can see that, how nice it looks. But I'm going to clean it anyway. Everything looks pretty good. Now, you go ahead and take your cleaner and your little brush and brush the piece down as best you can. Make sure to get that cleaner, you know, inside your ports and stuff. And that's this piece here. That's the long piece, got a hole in the end. That's your draw. That draws your gas up into your carburetor. This port here is where your float and your needle valve shut on and off the gas. So as the bowl fills up, the float comes up, needle valve shuts off gas. When it starts to go down, lets gas in. Back and forth, back and forth. So you just want to, you know, just kind of brush it out. Them usually ain't too dirty. But get it down in there anyway. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take air, I got an air line, and I'm going to blow this all out. I'm going to blow this port out. I'm going to blow this port out. And this is my intake for my fuel. And that goes directly to that needle valve. Directly. So I'm going to clean it up too. Now another thing I saw online. Now let me find it here. There's some guy was poking around at his carburetor And I checked it out. It seemed like a pretty good idea. Now I have welding tools. These welding tools are kind of thin for cleaning tips on a welder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the smallest one, which is been up here somewhere. I'll buy one of these new. See what it's like having new. Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing. Damn, what's something new. So take that. Okay. And in here, there's a hole down at the bottom. Now, I've seen a guy do that, so I thought it was pretty cool. And just poke it all the way through. It'll come out down here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's in there. And it comes all the way through. Now sometimes them get kind of dirty. I never really thought about poking something through there because if you mess it up, it's not good. But then I got this bigger piece here. I'm not sure if you can see what size that is right there. Then I'm going to see if that fits. Fits right in there. Yeah, that hole's nice and clean now. Just in case it's clogged up. If you don't do that, I learned that from a guy just a little while ago. Yeah, a week or so. We learn as we go, and you will too. So even after 40 years of working on these, you can learn something stupid. I've always been really careful with these because they are sensitive. But if you do that, and you can even do the gas intake where your shut-off valve is, you kind of poke through there, but use 99.99% of the time. They don't need that. They just need clean and blowed out. So make sure you do that. Well, now that we've done that, let's take your carburetor and hold it upside down. And you remember that needle valve and that float. Make sure it's tilted like that. Get it down in position and make sure that needle valve goes in that hole and just sit there like that. Bam. Now, grab your pin, stick it in the hole, and use your finger and get that to go through to hold the float. Now make sure when you're done that that's sticking out the same amount on both sides. Boom, boom. That's ready to go. Now take your bowl, which we've inspected. This one ain't perfect, but I think it'll seal. And gently sit that down on there. Yeah, work with it a little bit until it seats on there itself. If it ain't seating on there itself, you know what I mean? That means it's not working. Like with mine. But you just keep working with that and you'll get that on there. And once you get it lined up, you get it down on there. Just give it a little press. So this seals up.
Kicking off your 92 minutes of non-stop classic rock here on 92.5 The Fox. Matt Crawford, you can do it every weekday right after Bob and Tom. On the way, I got Eagles and some Rush, but now it's Steve.
Alright, I've had to take the gasket came off of the bowl. You might go ahead and take yours off just for the experience, even if you're not having no trouble. And you can see where it seats around there. Just gently get that to seat around there like that. Alright. So it's all the way around. Mine was not going down. See, now it's on this seat. That's where it's supposed to be. And I'm going to make sure to clean this up, because see where the gasket was? Kind of messed up. So I'm going to kind of clean that up. Don't use nothing real abrasive. I'm just going to lightly get the big stuff off of there so it don't interfere when I put the gasket on. Just lightly scrape off the loose particle. You do have to have patience for this, trust me. And if you can't mess with little stuff, you need to find somebody who can. But if you just stick with it and don't lose any parts, it don't matter how good you are, you can do this. Now, how do you know that you can do this? Because I say you can. Pretty simple, right? Don't you like it when things are simple? Like sitting that bowl right down on there like that. It does something. Just fit right on there. Boom. Now, go back to your bolt. With your finger, always with your finger, get that thing started. If it don't go easy, you're not doing it right. And you don't want to force it, because this is made out of pot metal, otherwise known as die cast, and it will strip so easy. I mean, super duper easy. Then we take this tool, which is our 7/16 wrench, and just turn it. As long as it's easy, you keep turning it. All of a sudden, it's tight. Little extra teeny weeny bit, and you're done. You don't want to get that too tight. Alright, and there we have that. Now all we had to do is bolt the thread back up on here, and we'll be done. I hope this helped you out. My name is Dan. If you need to know anything, just send me a comment, and I'll try to get that information back to you as quickly as I can. I try to check my stuff out as I can. And keep watching. We're going to all be mechanics.